Happy holidays and welcome to the KVUE Retrocast, a look back at one of our newscasts from the past. In just a moment, you'll be seeing an entire half-hour special Christmas broadcast from the KVUE News Archives, commercials and all. We hope you enjoy turning back the clock with us as we revisit a holiday season from long ago.
From all of us at KVUE 24 Action News, Merry Christmas. I'm Judy Maggio, along with Dick Ellis, Ron Oliveda, Hugh Lewis, and Troy Kimmel.
Now, normally we bring you our newscast from a more traditional setting, but tonight we've come to one of the most magnificent buildings in the state, a building that needs little introduction, to bring you our special Christmas Eve newscast.
And it's all good news. Tonight, during the next half hour, we're going to meet some of the special people and see some of the great scenes that make Christmas in Austin like no place else.
Now, a bit later, we'll go back to the studio to check in on your Christmas Day weather forecast. But for now, let's all celebrate a capital Christmas.
There's something magical about this place anyway, and at Christmas even more so. This remarkable Christmas tree, over 20 feet tall, provides a festive touch to the massive rotunda. And it's around this Christmas tree that every night during the Christmas season, there's music and celebration. In a moment, we'll hear from one of the many wonderful Austin musical groups that helps to celebrate a capital Christmas. But first, let's meet a man who embodies the spirit of giving during this holiday season. When Jig Simmons walks out his front door, chances are he's headed for a bicycle. Not to ride it, to repair it. Simmons plays a vital role in Bastrop's Pink Santa program, a group of generous folks who try to answer the Christmas wish list of underprivileged children in their area. A new bike is often at the top of that list. Making children happy is why Simmons spends a big part of his retirement rebuilding bikes. He wants to make sure others can experience the joy he felt with his first bike.
Oh, I can only remember when I got my first one when I was about 10 years old. It meant the world. That opened up. I could go places I never could go before. I was accepted by all the other kids who had bikes. It just meant a great deal. The only thing that's necessary in moving this part of a bicycle is remember it's backwards.
These bikes come from different places, some donated by neighbors, others found in a junkyard. And Simmons painstakingly takes them apart, piece by piece, and makes an old bike new again. It's his way of showing the spirit of the Christmas season.
To me, Christianity in action is helping others. And I sometimes think we talk a whole lot more than we do, so I like to try to do it a little bit.
But Simmons does much more than a little bit. Throughout this year, he has rebuilt 25 bikes. Each one was a labor of love, and each one will make a deserving child's Christmas dream come true.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store.
Now, we mentioned a moment ago that the Capitol is a great place to hear some special music during the holidays. Here's one of the many musical groups in our town made up exclusively of volunteers. Their Capitol concert is something else.
Now, big band jazz may not be what you think about during holiday times, but I found it alive and well at, of all places, a Methodist church. His name is Clifford Zirkle. He's known in many circles in Austin as director of one of the most popular swing bands around. But this day, he's not playing for the ballroom crowd. Clifford Zirkle is a retired Methodist minister, and he brought the gospel according to jazz to St. Luke's United Methodist Church.
Where is it written in the Scripture or engraved and granted in some ecclesiastical Vatican that only music of the 18th or 19th century is suitable for the worship of God and in liturgical use?
Some of those who played this day are members of Zirkle's band. Some are graduate students. There's a contractor and a couple of local band directors here, too.
It's a tempo, and it's a part of our culture. And a lot of people, including young people, who've grown up with some of this music, so why not use it as a part of our everyday life to celebrate God. Jesus said something to the effect, these things I've spoken to you that my joy might be in you and that your joy might be full. He didn't say I've come to get people into heaven. He never said I've come to make people religious. He came to talk to them about making the most of their lives, that it's a joyous thing. And so if we can communicate that through this kind of music, so much the better.
And when they cranked up Yo, the Herald Angels Sing, the congregation at St. Luke's loved it.
We'll be back with more of A Capital Christmas in just a moment.
Welcome back to A Capital Christmas. We've come to the state capitol to bring you some very special good news stories for the holiday season.
You know, we were talking about Christmas time in this wonderful building. Now, if Austin is the heart of Texas, then surely this place must be its soul. Now, Christmases have been a special time in this building since it opened back in 1886. The tradition of decorating the state capitol for Christmas is almost as old as the capitol itself. Nothing was spared for this lavish building, and Christmases took on a special meaning. To this day, decorations inside and outside adorn the capitol.
Traditions in Texas and traditions for some Texans have blended for the best of both worlds. Andy Sines explains.
You know, here in the Southwest, we are very lucky to be able to enjoy and to learn from two cultures. That means lots of rich traditions. One tradition my family and I really enjoy is attending a mariachi mass during the holiday season. For one Austin family, a mariachi mass means giving a very special gift. You may recognize them as the singers on the Bluebell ice cream commercial, but this is where the Gonzalez family, better known as the Mariachis Guadalupanos, feels most at home.
You can always tell the difference when it's the mariachi mass and the mariachis here, because there's just a joyfulness of it, the sentimiento, the sentiment that comes out is it's just very, very powerful.
It's a gift from God. That's the only thing we can say. You know, that's the only way we can figure it out. It's just a gift from God. When you bring the element of mariachi music into it, it's very indigenous. It's very much part of the expression of that faith and that culture.
Speaking of traditions, Robert Hadlock found a piece of history that is still very much alive.
In Spanish, they are called altercitos. It's a tradition. It makes me feel some kind of secure. It's just like I can feel it. I can feel it.
70-year-old Manuel Aguilar finds daily comfort at his home altar. These are places set aside for religious devotion.
The sacred seems to be so close or so important to Hispanic people that they can't, or we can't imagine a home without, relics, without pictures, images of either our Lord or the Blessed Mother or one of our favorite saints, which in turn then leads us to talk with them, to pray with them. And then people begin with a small altar, and after a while they have these elaborate, altars with, so many saints and flowers and candles and the whole bit.
See, we got the Pope over here. Mi papa.
At Christmas time, they become even more impressive when flowers, ribbons, lights, and most importantly, a figure of the baby Jesus is added. The mother of Jesus, the Virgin Mary, holds a special place in the home.
The Hispanic people, she's a sign of hope, a sign of liberation, a sign of new life.
One of the happiest days of the year at the altar is Christmas.
That's a special day. Everybody should be happy because we've been saved. Before that, there was no salvation.
Words of faith in this blessed season.
That was really wonderful. You know, Christmas is the time of the year for giving gifts. And recently, 24 News photographer Brent Anir found a man whose gifts come straight from the heart.
To me, it's home away from home. I can come out here and I can do my thing. It's a challenge knowing that I can take a piece of wood and I can make something that a child can play with and really enjoy.
That challenge keeps Bill Telto at the saw table almost daily in his spare time, making toys out of wood.
Making wooden toys is something that is a forgotten thing, really. When I make something, I make sure that it don't have any points, edges to where they can get hurt. I come out here and time flies. It's like a high. Gotta have windows, everybody gotta have windows. I do it part by part, that way at least I can concentrate on one thing at a time. It's like an assembly line itself.
Machines smooth rough edges, but it's the creator's hands that have made thousands of cars before this one, that skillfully guide the way.
It's just like beauty. I mean, I just love to feel with my hands of wood. To me, it's something that you can mold with your own two hands.
It is care beyond craftsmanship, creations born of a desire to provide for his son, Stephen.
When he was about a year old, we decided to go and buy him some pool toys. And we went to one of the local toy stores, and we really couldn't find anything that we really wanted him to have. So Betty and myself, we decided that I'll make some toys for him.
Nearly 7 years later, he still makes toys for his boy and for other relatives and friends. But now, Stephen's Toys is also a small company.
To me, it's an out. It's an out to really sell so that I can come here and enjoy making more. And again, it's really not my toys, it's Stephen's toys because it was mainly intended for him.
Always with his son in mind, the child in Bill Telto will keep making toys from the heart, as long as it's fun.
That's the fun part, is taking it and just rolling it all the way across.
And he lives the Christmas spirit of creating for others all year long.
Welcome back to the state capitol. Now, Deborah Duncan and Bob Rose are certainly talented broadcasters, but there are other things they do well, too. We work the night shift at KVUE 24, so we thought it only fitting that we let our colleagues from the morning shift be with us here tonight also. So here goes.
Bob, what are you doing? Deborah, just go on. You'll find out. Just go on, do your thing.
Okay.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every boy's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple praise to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas.
From all of us on Daybreak, happy holidays. You are so talented.
I'll make it snow if you want me to.
Well, it'd be hard to top that, and I'm not going to try. Up next, Danny Elsner has a special Christmas story about a Central Texas football player who has plenty to be thankful for this holiday season.
You know, this is the time of the year when people are really grateful for their families. Tonight, Danny Elsner takes a look at a Texas football player whose family really had to overcome some big obstacles this past football season.
October 21st was a big day for Ed Cunningham. He and the rest of the Longhorns had beaten Arkansas in Fayetteville, and it was time to celebrate. But Cunningham came off the field after that big victory and faced some terrible news. His father had just had a heart attack.
One moment we were chanting Cotton Bowl and we thought we were going to be in the Cotton Bowl. The next minute, you know, I'm watching them do CPR on my dad, which, you know, and it was, I guess it's about a week before I knew that he was going to live. And at least 24 hours, they didn't think he was going to make it at all.
You just sort of put life in perspective. This is important. Our profession is important. Games are important. Winning and losing is important. But nothing's as important as your parents.
I think one thing I saw in the hospital was seeing a lot of other people dying too. And, you know, whether or not I won that game or not didn't mean, you know, the guy dying of cancer and the guy dying of a heart disease or the guy dying of AIDS. It doesn't matter. They're not going to, you know, it doesn't mean that much. But those people's lives is what means a lot. Football didn't seem that important at that time, and it's kind of given me a different perspective.
Ed's father survived his heart attack in Fayetteville. Arkansas head coach Ken Hatfield and his Razorback players helped the Cunninghams through their ordeal. So this Christmas, Ed Cunningham has the best present of all, his father.
He made it to the Baylor game, which, you know, I don't know. I was just happy to have him there. I wish we could have won one for him, but he's doing good. And you're right, it'd been a real bad Christmas if he wasn't there, and it's going to be fun to have him there.
And that is the biggest victory of all.
Now, this is the part of the program and we check in with some KVUE 24 family members to recall some of their Christmases in the past. Dick Ellis, what's your favorite Christmas memory?
Judy, I remember the first Christmas when my wife and I got married. I was working the sign-on news shift at a local radio station, and I had to be at work by 4:30 in the morning. That first Christmas together, we got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to have Christmas. Then we went to work.
Well, I guess I remember when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I wasn't quite sure if there was a Santa Claus or there wasn't a Santa Claus, and I woke up at about 3:30 in the morning and decided to sneak downstairs to see if the gifts were out. I got downstairs, there was nothing there, so I ran back upstairs, went back to sleep, tossed and turned for a little while, fell back to sleep. Then when I woke up the next morning, the gifts were there, so I still believed in Santa Claus.
Well, my memories of Christmas are those early Christmas mornings, going down to check with my sister on what Santa Claus had brought overnight. Many times we knew long before the family got together underneath the tree.
Well, my memory of Christmas has to do with being in a boys' choir, and guess what? A few days ago, I had a chance to relive that experience.
Silence night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, brown young virgin mother and child, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Beneath the silent stars, a town is sleeping. Flocks are safe within the fold, secure from danger, want or cold. Silent, silent night,
And on that note, what more can we say than Merry Christmas?
From all of us at KVUE 24, our warmest wishes for a happy holiday. Merry Christmas.